Dane, let's take a look at some Jets undrafted free agents, and let's break it up offense, defense. Who on offense do you think has a real chance to make a roster here?
I'll tell you what, Lawrence Cager out of Georgia, Miami transfer, he really caught my eye, 6'5", 220. And what he can do on those back shoulders, some of those jump balls, maybe be a red zone weapon, that's what really stood out to me with him. So you get him in single coverage, and that power forward mentality, that's where you could really use him. I think he's a little limited. He doesn't have a really diverse skill set. But again, when he's lined up one-on-one on the outside, that's where he can help you move the chains. That's what Jake Fromm did, relying on him throughout the year at Georgia. So I think he's a potential bottom of the roster receiver who you implement in certain situations. And then Jared Hilbers, a 2-year starter at Washington, took over when Trey Adams was hurt. And then, so he played left tackle, right tackle, has that versatility, shorter arms. That's the reason he went undrafted. Only 31.5-inch arms. So that's a big issue with him, something you see on tape. But he's got the potential to be a swing tackle in the league. So nothing about him that's necessarily amazing that jumps off the tape, but he stays under control. He moves well. I think at worst, you're looking at a guy that can go on the practice squad. You can develop him a little bit, and maybe he can be your swing tackle of the future.
In terms of Cager, we know he's big, but how fast is he?
That is a question with him. Did not run at the combine. He's probably more of a 4.6 athlete. He's a very average speed player, and when you watch his route running, it's a little lifeless. It's a little dull at the stem. So he's not going to have those explosive movements to uncover at will. But because he's so big, so physical, catches the ball well outside his frame, that's where he can be, a little bit of a mismatch when he's lined up one-on-one against a smaller corner or something like that, especially in the red zone. I think that's the value of a Lawrence Cager.
On the defensive side of the ball, who catches your eye there?
Definitely a few of these guys. I thought the Jets did well, especially on the defensive side. Bryce Huff out of Memphis, a little bit of that tweener combo defensive end. Is he a designated pass rusher? Is he a linebacker? He played that conversion role for Memphis. A little predictable with what he's doing, but I tell you, the motor, the effort on this guy, it does not shut off. He's energetic, and the way I described him in my report, an energetic ball of butcher knives. Because that's what he is. He is not afraid to just play with power. He's with quickness, the motor. It's always revving. He never shuts it off. So there's some questions about, can he be a consistent run defender? Can he drop in space? Can he develop his counter moves? There's some questions there, but there's no question about the energy and the pass rush juice he can bring off the bench.
And then what about some of the corners that the Jets added as well?
Yeah, they did a nice job in the secondary. Shyheim Carter out of Alabama. He's a little bit of that tweener. Is he a corner? Is he a safety? Is he big enough to be a nickel? He played that star position in Saban's defense. I wish he was a little bit better versus the run, but he understands coverage. You can see that he reads routes well. He's got a little bit of athleticism, so he's got a chance if he could find that role. Like I said, a little bit of a tweener, that might be his issue. Lamar Jackson out of Nebraska, he's not quite the athlete as Lamar Jackson that's over in Baltimore, and that's kind of the issue with him. Is he's got good size, 6'2", 208, but he's more of a 4'6" athlete. And so do you maybe move him to safety? Maybe that could be what he does, because ball skills are there, the size, the length, you like that. He's got the kind of the mean competitive approach that you want for run support work. But does he have the speed that he can hold up? That'll be the question with him. And then Guidry from Utah. Speed's not a question with this player. A big-time track athlete, 4.29 in the 40-yard dash at the combine. But unfortunately, he's a better athlete than a football player right now. But there's upside there. Obviously, when you have speed like that, really competitive player. So he's a guy you bring into your program, try to develop him. And, you can't teach that speed. And that's always going to be his calling card. So even on special teams, whether you use him as a gunner or something like that, maybe he can bring your team some value. So pretty good haul in the secondary for the Jets.
There you have it. Some undrafted free agents for Jets fans to keep an eye on. Thanks a lot, Dane.
Thanks, Ethan.